Have you ever heard of a puzzle so tough it attracted the world's best code breakers? One so mysterious that spy agencies like the CIA were supposedly keeping tabs on it? Well, today, we're diving into the story of Cicada 3301. And believe it or not, it all started with this one single cryptic image.
So it all began right here. Back in January of 2012, this picture just appeared on the anonymous website 4chan. Now, to most people, it looked like junk, maybe some kind of weird amateurish post. But hidden inside its code was a challenge that was about to launch a worldwide scavenger hunt.
And this was the message. Talk about a hook, right? We are looking for highly intelligent individuals. It wasn't just a puzzle, it was an invitation to a game. And to play, you had to be more than just smart. You had to be relentless.
So how did the internet's most, let's say, cynical users react to this strange invitation? Well, it pretty much went exactly how you'd expect, at least at first.
Yep, the first reaction was just a wave of skepticism. Almost everyone wrote it off as a joke, a troll, or some overly complicated game that would go absolutely nowhere. I mean, they'd seen stuff like this before. But for a handful of people, that challenge was just too tempting to ignore, so they downloaded the image and started digging around. And what they found? Well, they quickly realized this was no prank. It was the very first step down a rabbit hole of digital and real-world clues. Okay, so this is where the real test kicked off. And to solve that first clue, you couldn't just be a good programmer. Nope. You had to be a historian, a linguist, and a digital detective all rolled into one. The first big breakthrough came from a really simple but kind of brilliant move. Instead of just looking at the image, somebody opened it with a text editor, and buried deep in the raw code was a hidden message. This technique has a name. It's called steganography. It's basically the art of hiding secrets right out in the open. That hidden message, of course, led to another puzzle. This one required knowing about something called a Caesar cipher in ancient code. This was a really clear signal from whoever created this. If you want to solve this mystery, you need to understand the past to unlock the future. So, after hours and hours of digital detective work, the solution wasn't another website link or some cryptic phrase. It was a phone number, a real-world phone number. The whole puzzle was about to literally leap off the screen. That phone call, that was the real turning point. It's the moment this whole mystery escaped the corners of the internet and became a truly global phenomenon. I mean, can you imagine the suspense of actually dialing that number? But when they did, it wasn't a person on the other end. It was an automated voice that congratulated them and then immediately gave them a new set of challenges. The game was so far from over. Once those new codes were cracked, they revealed a set of GPS coordinates. But here's the crazy part. They weren't all in one city or even one country. They were scattered all across the globe. This had just turned into a real-world treasure hunt on an international scale. And at each of these locations, people found a poster taped to a lamppost with a QR code on it. Think about the coordination that takes. This was staggering. It basically proved that Cicada 3301 wasn't just one person, but a seriously well-funded and highly organized group. So those QR codes led the few solvers who were left to the final stage of the puzzle. And this was going to be the most difficult challenge yet, one that would test their minds in ways they probably never expected. All of those QR codes from all over the world led to a single hidden address on the dark web. And this is where the puzzle really shifted from being a test of just skill to a test of, well, ideology. What they found was a book called the Liber Primus, which means first book. It was written in this unique runic language and was full of dense philosophical texts. It was the final puzzle, and get this, to this day, it's still largely unsolved. The very few who managed to translate even parts of the Liber Primus were apparently given private instructions. And then, they just disappeared. The trail went completely cold, and that's when the wild speculation really began.
So, who was behind Cicada 331? The sheer scale of the whole operation suggests a pretty powerful organization. But what kind of group would go to these lengths just to find a few brilliant minds?
The theories, they range from the plausible to the totally out there. Was it a government agency trying to recruit top talent off the books? A secret society? Or maybe a group of activists fighting for digital freedom? The truth is, we still don't know.
And what about the winners? The people who actually solved the puzzle never came forward. The common belief is that they were invited to join the organization and they accepted. They just faded back into the anonymity of the internet.
You know, for 3 years straight, a new puzzle showed up every January, and each one was harder than the last. But after 2014, they just stopped. The cicadas went silent, and the mystery just got even deeper.
So what's the legacy of Cicada 3301? Why does this story still fascinate us, all these years after the last puzzle was released?
I think Cicada 3301 was a powerful reminder of what the internet was originally supposed to be about. You know, a place for exploration, for learning, for connecting with people to solve really complex problems. It was a call to be more than just a consumer of content, but to be a creator of solutions.
The story of Cicada 3301 is really a reminder that the internet is just full of hidden doors and secret passages. You just have to look for them. The real question is, are you ready to see what's on the other side?